Cinema back, another dish. How we doing out there? Good, great, great, yan, in yan. I don't care. I really don't. I mean, I only don't care because you shouldn't be here right now. You should be listening to something better for your brain. So, if you listen to the previous episode, you'd know that I was going to continue. I kind of, on some level, I don't even feel like I should have posted the last episode because it is more about my reaction to something than it is about the actual movie. But as we know, if you listen to the show or if you're a new listener, I don't spoil anything for you. I just try to, by the sound of me, my passion for loving the moving pictures, I hope I can sell you on that to buy some of the I wish it wasn't, but the now dying physical media because everybody streams everything. But to that point, can I say something cliche real quick? Nothing, and I do mean nothing, gang, beats the video and audio quality of a hard disk. I'm sorry, it doesn't. Anytime I pull up HBO Max or fucking Netflix or whatever, 4K Ultra, I'm sorry, it is not. I'm not saying that it is an upscale 4K or something like it is not. And the sound, don't even get me started, babe. Don't even get me started. I put in a fucking hard disk on my Blu-ray player, and typically like my surround sound will be 60 to 65, and it's like, oh, that's loud. If I watch something from a streaming service, I have to have it on like 73, 74, and even then it's kind of like, it's not as crisp as it could be. So that's... Anyway, so let's kind of go back to what I was bitching and complaining about the previous episode, because I don't want it to, if the party in question happens to listen to the show, I don't want her to think that, damn it, I did it again. I told myself that I wasn't going to reveal genders or anything, but anyway. Listen, I understand from your point of view you have a job to do, okay? And you don't want to be the person that recommends this dude that you don't know, you haven't listened to his show, whatever, blah, 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 and then things start to go awry. I get that. I totally understand that. Just from job security, especially now, like I get it. And is something as lucrative as and I'm sure she does more than just, I'm not going to talk about the distributors, but I'm sure she does more than just this particular, choose your words, Sean, choose your words, this avenue. I know that's not right, but I know that she does more. There's no way that you can just be a PR rep for a physical media. I wouldn't think so, at least, but so I get it from her standpoint that she's got to cover her own ass. The problem is that I gave you some facts. I gave you some facts about how many listens and downloads I have had over the course of the past 6-7 months, which even kind of surprises me. I never look at it. I think that's the shit that'll drive you crazy, dude, is if you fucking if you are in tune to that, I'm sure it for good or ill, you see, oh, fuck, this one's got, 1,000 streams or something. I'm sure it probably gives you, a good feeling in the pit of your tum-tum. But it's not how I live my life. I don't. So what I guess I don't mind what you did. I don't think you did enough research before you were like, no, I'm not going to do it. And then I just think this makes us look stupid. Both of us stupid. Her and myself look stupid. So I was just like, fine, fuck it, whatever. I'll bypass you and I'll find interviews for my own, or I'll find somebody to talk about it on my own, because I do anyway. If you listen to the first part, or the previous episode, 95% of the interviews I get are me extending invitations when I'm taking my morning shit. I'm just being real with you, gang. That's I don't mean to be vulgar, but that's it. I'm showing you how the sausage is made, all right? Because I think that I've had a couple people that I don't talk to anymore, whatever, just how do you get all these interviews? And I'm like, dude, I just ask. I just try and I just ask. Like this particular podcast is, which you shouldn't be listening to because there's so many other better podcasts out there. And this is just such a too niche of a podcast. In fact, over the past couple months, I've actually been toying with the notion of maybe stopping the movie podcast and just doing kind of like a talk about, just a normal podcast talking about current events and whatever else interests me or disgusts me or whatever. And I still might, because I get a lot of people that are like, well, I want to come on the show, but I don't want to watch the movies, because that's the fucking times we live in now. It takes people fucking 4 days to watch an hour-and-a-half movie. Blows my mind. There's a friend of mine. I had her watch, she asked me. I didn't make her. She was just like, give me some movie recommendations. I'm in the house today. And I gave her a few, and one of the ones was Lady Bird. All right, I fucking love Lady Bird. Hopefully you've seen it. If you haven't, it's on Netflix. Thank me later. It took her 4 days to finish an hour and 50-minute movie. I'm sorry. I'm just not like y'all. So going back to, again, with the first part, like how many, the PR rep was like, can you show me concrete? To be frank, it doesn't look like you get a lot of traffic. I wouldn't know, lady, because I don't look. I do my show. I show the fuck up. I throw down, and then I chuck deuces. I bust people in the fucking ears, and then I bounce. It's as simple as that. And listen, I could spend more time talking about the films. It's not even that I don't want to spend. Like I said, I internally feel bad that I didn't pay Il Grande Racket more respect, because it deserves more respect. It was such a fucking fun and at that time I would assume, kind of boundary breaking filmmaking, and I felt bad about that. But listen, I don't even know why I have to say this shit. Nobody even cares. I work full time. I go to school full time, and I fucking have this podcast. If you just on a surface level, how much time do you think I fucking have? And you think I'm gonna fucking try to get retweets and stuff? No. Somebody said it to me a long time ago. They said I'm like the fucking Jack Kerouac of podcasts. I just fucking, here it is, and then I disappear, and here it is. I don't know if there's any credence to that, because I certainly don't have that type of credibility, that's for sure. I do have some. So, brief overview, if some of you guys missed it. I had reached out. Let me go back. Hold on. Why both of us are stupid. You want to know why I think we're both stupid for the email I got? Go back and listen to the first one. So long story short, I asked this lady, I'm like, hey, is there any interviews available on this one? And basically, she didn't say this, so I don't want you guys fucking finding her and harassing her or anything. She did not say this, but I am paraphrasing. Who are you? So let's just move past that. What's funny about this whole fucking thing is, after the fact, I was like, oh, I'll find people from the film and I'll reach out to them myself. So I'll fucking bypass this lady who doesn't even own a Blu-ray player, has never watched these movies, doesn't even own a Blu-ray. Okay, because I find that fascinating, is that you have these people. Yeah, I like movies. Yeah, what movie did you last see in the theater? Tenet. Okay, then you're not a movie fan. You're not. I'm sorry, you're not a movie fan, and you should not be working for a movie company. Having said that, this proves credence to two things. One, she probably shouldn't be with the company that she's with, and two, I probably shouldn't be doing a podcast. And here's why. When I asked for those interviews, I just, I tend to do that. Like, this is what's being released. Oh, well, hey, are there any interviews? So I go and I look at the film, right? The film was released in 1974. I won't release it. I won't talk about the title now, because I'm sure I'll probably get it later and I'll talk about it then. But anybody that I would have been interested in interviewing, are you ready, lady who told me no, and gang listening literally from around the world? They're all dead. They're all there's like two of them that are still alive, and I wouldn't be interested in filming them. I am much more of a crew-based guy than I am a talent-based guy. Well, crew-based than I am cast-based. I would prefer to talk to the director. I prefer to talk to the writer. I like knowing how the shit came to be. I don't give a fuck. Well, I'm not going to say I don't give a fuck, but to an extent, I don't care what you did with the the material that was given to you. I want to know how you got, if you're an actor or an actress, I want to know how you got involved with the project, some of the preparation that you did for the project. But in terms of like, no, I just much prefer to interview people from behind the scenes. One, I don't think they get enough love. They get love, but I don't think they get enough love. And two, like, actors are always like, they're in front of the camera. What more, you don't fucking need me. But I just thought it was hilarious that dead. Anyone that I would have interest to talk to, dead. And this lady said, "Who are you?" to me. Like I said, if you listen to the previous episode, I can paraphrase it. It just bothers me because I don't know this. She could be a huge movie fan, dude, and have twice as many Blu-rays as I do. I doubt it. But let's just hypothetically say that she does. When I was talking to her, when I was interacting with her with email, I just went, this lady doesn't even watch movies. Like, it's not even about film to her. It's about how she looks, what's going to make her look better. And again, lady, if you're listening, I get it. You don't want to look like the asshole that was like, yeah, let's set up this interview with this actor, with this fucking dude that we don't even know, and then it goes to shit. I get it. Like, then your ass is on the line, you look fucking stupid, and I just go, well, you shouldn't have gave me the interview then. Like, because I have no representation, because I have no stakes, because there's no money involved in this, I get to skate. Like, there's nothing you can do to me. Like, there is not a goddamn thing you can do. Well, we'll stop sending you our films to review. Good, then I'll have more time to live my life. Because every time I sit down in my fucking chair in the living room and I want to watch something just for me, I got to watch, what did I fucking get to watch the other day? Oh, the fucking Northman. I look over to my left and I just see stacks of stuff that I have to talk about, which is fine. Listen, like... Well, I was thinking about this, too, before I get too far into it. I would say 2 years ago when I got the gig, I was extremely grateful. Now that I see that the people that I do it for, like, when you guys tell me, hey, I've never heard that movie, but you made me fucking laugh as per usual, listen, that's why I keep on doing it. Same with, like, when I interview a person and they're just like, hey, your show's not fucking mediocre at all. It's fucking great. You're funny. Your research, blah, blah, blah. That's why I continue to do it. But when I look over to my left and I just see stacks of stuff, at one point I was grateful a couple years ago, and now, especially after the interaction that I had with this lady, if you care so little that you can't even click retweet, if you care so little about what I'm doing, then don't send me anything. I don't care. Like, I don't think you know who you're dealing with here. I really don't think you do. Because especially now, like, my reach is is good enough within the film community that, like, I could get an acting gig if I wanted. I could get a writing gig if I wanted. And I'm not even shitting you, gang. Like, it's just how it is. But I made a promise to myself, not until September of 2023 will I explore those options, because I need to have something that fucking I can fall back on that's firm, that makes me enough money, and then that way, if all that other horse shit doesn't work out, well, I still busted my butt and doing something equally as rewarding to me. So, but I just the nerve of someone saying, "Who are you?" to me, and I'm like, I'm the dude that may write the next fucking huge Western. That's who I am. I'm the dude that fucking fiddled around with a fucking podcast and now has voiceover work. I'm the, like, it's just like, and you don't even own a Blu-ray player. So forget about the other shit that I said. I just felt like when I was talking to her, that was like, I'm talking to someone who streams everything from fucking Hulu, not even like a good streaming service, not even like HBO Max or something. Doesn't have a Blu-ray player, but this lady is going to tell me. But joke's on both of us. I asked for an interview of a bunch of people that were dead, and she responded with no about interviewing people that were already dead. So we're both fucking stupid. Anyway... The Heroin Busters, La Via della Droga. La Via della Droga. Must admit, did not like as much as Il Grande Racket, the Big Racket. I thought the Big Racket was leaps and bounds better than the Heroin Busters. Not to say that there's not redeeming qualities for the Heroin Busters. Just, I don't know, just a bit outside what I thought was acceptable. Because there are some scenes, especially like the last sequence, the final sequence, for those of you that have seen it, and you'll know what I'm talking about. For those of you that have not, I'll just say, went on a little long with just kind of a very underwhelming payoff. But it's fine. It's fine. It's totally fine. But it makes me think, like, out of all the films that were super popular coming out of Italy at these times, if this was the one that we decided on for the second one, I can't imagine how near unwatchable some of the crime thrillers that some of them may have been. Anyway, so we are on part 2, and we're going to finish off this box set. Rogue Cops and Racketeers, 2 crime thrillers by Enzo G. Castellari. That is right. Over a long and wide-ranging career, director Enzo G. Castellari helmed some of the most infamous of all poliziotteschi, the gritty, action-packed crime films that proliferated in Italy throughout the 70s. The gritty, action-packed crime films that proliferated in Italy throughout the 70s. Buckle up. See, this is why you shouldn't listen to the show. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. Buckle up for a heart-stopping thrill ride through the seedy underbelly of Italian society in 2 of his most celebrated thrillers. In fact, in watching the bonus features, doesn't sound like a whole lot of things have changed from a crime aspect in Italy, which these films are just a response to the times. They said it was just like it was a given that shop owners were, catching shakedowns from crime underlings, from hooligans, as they say. And if you listen to a couple of the featurettes, sounds like not a whole lot has changed. So, Rule-flouting, that's a word, Rule-flouting? Rule-flouting cop Fabio, yes, that's right, Fabio Testi is back again. Oh, let's see the cast. The cast is of La Via della Droga, the Heroin Busters. We have Fabio Testi playing Fabio. David Hemmings playing Mike Hamilton. It was good to see him. Kind of a staple of those cross-international films where we brought in American actors from, to be in these Italian. I guess the best way to if some of you youngins want to see something modern, just watch Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and that would give you kind of a lay of the land, if you will. We got Sherry Buchanan, who plays Vera. We got Wolfango, Soldati, who plays Gio, Massimo Vanni, who plays Massimo, Angelo Ragusa, Leroy's henchman. Hold on, it gets better. Romano Puppo, who had I don't want to say a giant role in the Big Racket. His character in this one, Leroy's third in command. Doesn't have a whole lot of speaking lines in this one. This is I go back to say this is why you just got to make movies with your friends, because now you have faces that we've recognized before, and Enzo's no different. Faces that we recognized before, and when you're friends with someone, they don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck if they got mad speaking roles, or I guess unless you're Will Ferrell and Adam McKay. I think Will Ferrell's pretty pissed at Adam McKay right now, but for the most part, making films with your friends, hey, credibility, because anyway. Sergio Ruggeri plays, wouldn't you know it, Sergio. Gianni Lefredo plays, again, like this is his name Josh Sinclair or Johnny Lefredo? Because I believe on IMDb, it's fucking Joshua Sinclair, and yet in this it's Johnny Lefredo. I just sometimes the translation from C to C just baffles me, more so in the Asian community, just because I'm just like, okay, I don't want to offend anyone over there, so how do I say their name properly? Because you have me saying, oh, well, that's Cantonese from the south, not Cantonese from the north. They'd get offended. Oh, well, then can you just give me the info so I don't make anybody upset? That would be great. Leon Lenoir plays cannabis dealer. And then Gianni Orlando plays Leroy, who is no spoilers, but he plays Leroy. On the crew, wouldn't you know it, directed by Enzo G. Castellari, story by Giuliano Juno, most of the time he's a producer, and Massimo de Rita teaming up with Enzo yet again for one of his crime thrillers, written by Massimo di Rita and Enzo G. Castellari, produced by Giuliano Giusso, production director Maurizio Amati, edited by Gianfranco Amicucci, again, who also not only has done a bunch of Enzo's film, but also did Il Grande Racket. Director of photography, different from the Big Racket, Giovanni Bergamini. And one of my favorite parts of the film, music by Goblin, who is, if you don't know Goblin, give him a goog, baby. Just giving us weird sounds for fucking 40, 50 years. Just weird scores. I'm not going to, in fact, buy this box set. If you want to know, well, Google, or after you buy this box set, watch one of the featurettes that's all about Goblin, and I think it's like 40 fucking minutes long. But yeah, I guess Suspiria would probably be the one that would be, at least for my crowd, the most famous one. Production designer Corrado Riccardo, take a drink. Costume designer Luciano Sagoni. So, what is La Via della... If you don't know what the Heroin Busters could be about, let me tell you. If you don't know what La Via della Droga could be about, rule-flouting cop Fabio Testi is deep undercover. Playing Fabio. Deep undercover, chasing a globe-trotting ring of drug smugglers suspected to be operating out of Rome. Working with Mike Hamilton, played by Hemmings, an Interpol agent with a hair-trigger temper. Really? Was he? I didn't really think he had a hair-trigger temper, but, you know. He sets out to worm his way into the group's confidence. But can these two rule-bending risk-takers stay one step ahead of the criminals long enough to bring them down from the inside? Guess you'll have to buy this box set and check it out. Opening with a whistle-stop tour... I swear. Opening with a whistle-stop tour of international locations, including Amsterdam, Hong Kong, Colombia, and culminating in a spectacular chase sequence over land and air. Well, spectacular may be a stretch there, gang. The Heroin Busters has everything you could hope for in a poliziotesco. Death-defying stunts, that's true. Explosive shootouts, also true. And a toe-tapping prog rock soundtrack by Goblin, also true. Now in high definition for the first time, but there was some stuff that I did want to read to you, though. Okay, so... While the tough poliziotteschi genre, the violent Italian police thrillers that are now being rediscovered through the medium of Blu-ray, which that lady doesn't even own one, but she's going to tell me I'm shit, may have... I'm seriously, this is all for entertainment purposes. Lady, if you're out there listening, I don't give a fuck. I have shit to do. I have shit to do. If you want to fucking threaten me and stop sending me stuff, that would be fine. I promise you I would be fine and make do. And if you guys listen to the first episode... I'm almost getting tired of people going, I have no idea what you're talking about. These films, I've never heard of it. I'm never going to watch it. It's just like, because most of my crowd's youngins, and that's fine. Whatever. I'll take them where I can get them. I know of people that are 70 that listen to the show, and I know that people that are 17 that listen to the show. So it's just whatever. It's all over the board. That's fine with me. But you know, if you want to stop sending me shit, I'll just go back to reviewing what I like, and I don't, there's no obligation. There's no elevated heart rate because I'm not fucking through the medium of Blu-ray. May have borrowed from, so the Heroin Busters may have borrowed from such U.S. models as Don Siegel's Dirty Harry or William Friedkin's The French Connection. Both good film. Well, I like French Connection way more than Dirty Harry. That's right, I said it. French Connection's way better than Dirty Harry. It's often remarked that elements of social criticism were shoehorned in by Italian filmmakers among the flying bullets. And that's certainly true. The political turmoil of that country in the 1970s, not least the bombings instigated by a variety of very different groups, found its way into the popular film of the day and gave it a grit and substance that enhanced what were essentially entertainment products rather than art house movies. Nevertheless, there were films in which the emphasis was strictly on fast-moving, hyperkinetic action, where the elements of characterization were provided less by the screenwriter or director than by the effective broad-brush work of of Italian and Anglo-American actors. A good example of this is Enzo G. Castellari's 1977 crime epic. Crime epic, though? Was it an epic? I mean, I guess if you're hinging on the fact of how far it spans because you shot the same actor in 5 different places, fine, then I guess it's fucking epic. Crime epic, the Heroin Busters, La Via della Droga, which actually translates to the Street of Drugs, which, again, also not true. It seems like these drugs are going to many streets. Guy who takes things too literal. But to say that the filmmaker spent less time on developing the relationship between the film's driven protagonists than on simply raising the pulse of the audience is not a criticism. Castellari was well aware that by hiring such charismatic actors as the Italian Fabio Testi and the British David Hemmings, characters would be amply taken care of. In fact, it's interesting to note how the two actors approach their parts. Testi is one of the actors who is well aware that he is rather too good looking to be a persuasive undercover cop, so he takes the approach so often adopted by his colleague Thomas Milian. Basically, look scruffy. Just have a beard and stupid boots. Him running through one of the subways with his boots annoyed me. I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense. I have personal issues. Here, Testi sports an unkempt beard, long hair, and all the accoutrements. I've never seen that word in my life. Accoutrements of the I should do homework beforehand instead of just watch the movie and then try to memorize some of the featurettes. The anti-establishment hippie, a look that is dictated by the plot, and it is. Because throughout the first... I like that. Throughout the first half of the film, I already told you he was a cop. For the first half of the film, you don't know that. Like, you suspect it because you're not a dumbass. But it's not explicitly stated until, like, I don't know, like, I want to say, like, 30, 40 minutes into the film, which I'm always a fan of. Make us wait for it, baby. Make us, give us that slow burn. Isn't he? Well, he kind of seems like he fucking isn't a cop right now. Like, he seems kind of dirty. Playing a cop masquerading as a law-breaking drug dealer, the deception is maintained for a time in the film, but one wonders if any members of the 1970 audience who first saw it in the cinema were taken in for a second by this imposture. Similarly, David Hansen, Chris Hansen? Excuse me, what are you doing here? David Hemmings plays somewhat against type, rather than the hapless figure caught up in circumstances beyond his control, as the two most celebrated films, Michelangelo and Antonioni's Blow Up and Dario Argento's Deep Red. Here is a short-tempered, constantly frustrated policeman. He's not that frustrated. He gets a lift from a lady on a motorcycle, and for him to hang on, he accidentally grabs her tit, and she's like, "No, that's fine. That's fine. You can keep holding my boob as we motorcycle out of here." I got kind of uncomfortable, if I'm going to be honest with you, gang. I was like, oh, the first one, kind of funny. Didn't mean to. Puts his hand, down by her stomach and, wraps his arm around her as they're on the motorcycle. And she's like, oh, no, it's fine. One, she looks like 22 and he looks like 60. So there's that. But also, even if the lady was like, yeah, you can grab my tit as we motorcycle out of here, I'm not doing that. That's not something that's structurally sound for me to want to escape with you. I'm holding on to your body. If we take a fucking sharp turn and if I'm flying off, you're flying off with me. I'm not taking one boob with me. Perhaps I need to do more notes instead of this poopy caca dick fart humor. But that's true. That's what I was thinking. When I saw that, that's what I was thinking. I was like, well, I wouldn't. Even if she was like, yeah, fine, hold my boobs if it makes you feel safe. I'm not doing that. One, because of the obvious. But two, that wouldn't make me feel safe. I wouldn't feel safe at all. In fact, now, and you can make the argument for one or the other, now I'm diverting my attention to the real problem at hand, and I'm going, boobs, and I don't want to do that. I need to be focused. We got to get the bad guy. That's true. I did go, ooh, why is this okay? Here's a British compared to with his Italian colleague. Hemmings, a volatile cop, is working for Interpol, explaining the presence of an Englishman in Italy. It's refreshing. In the English dub, to hear Hemmings using his own voice, which I did not watch. Shit, I only watched the Italian. And particularly to hear the frequent references to his arse rather than the Americanized ass. The relationship between the two cops is not delivered in static dialogue scenes. They are always on the run. That's true, and that's fun. But their edgy interactions more than compensate for a lack of nuance. And speaking of a lack of nuance, all the criminal types, with possible exception of one pathetic junkie, those sequences are fucking weird with the junkie, dude. They're just weird. And then, I'll just say it. The junkie gets lit the fuck up, and when he gets lit, his like tongue's hanging out as he gets shot. No squibs or nothing, which I don't know why adds to the hilarity of it. But he gets shot up inside of a jeweler store, and his like tongue's hanging out, and he's also having flashbacks as he's being shot. It's just a really wild and bizarre. This film it wasn't as uncomfortable as Il Grande Racket, the Big Racket, but it was very bizarre in showing the drug underworld. In fact, one thing that I do hate about films of the past is that sometimes there's this tendency, it's just like Reefer Madness, think of it like that, where you're just like, I hate to break it to you, but heroin addicts don't do that. Or I hate to break it to you, but if you smoke weed, that's not what happens. I hate to break it to you, but if you snort a line of coke, XYZ does not happen. And this is definitely one of, like, we are in a period where, like, I'll just say that what they're talking about, that pathetic junkie, weird part of the film. Like, I get it. It's how Fabio is led to the crime boss or the drug runners, but fuck, man, like we dragged out a couple of those scenes where I was just like, what the fuck, dude. There's a scene. Okay, now we meet one of these hooligans later in the film. Thing number one, this hooligan that I'm referring to doesn't have a big role. In fact, he's part of a group. I think he has a few lines. Call it a day. But there is this scene that sticks out like a sore thumb where this girl and her mom are in their apartment, and the hooligan busts in, and the mom is like giving small dosages of heroin to her daughter to wean her off the heroin to keep her from a full-blown withdrawal symptoms and being sick. And this guy slaps the mom, and she falls on top of the daughter, who's comatose, I might add, and is like, you better give me my money, better find my money. And I'm just like, dude, what the fuck is going on here? And then you see him peppered throughout the film, but it's like, I get it. It's to illustrate that these drugs are bad and the hooligans are bad. I got it. But fell out of nowhere. Fell out of nowhere, and I was like, what are we doing here? There was a couple of times in this film, again, it's fun, like this is a film that you can drink with a couple of buddies, have some popcorn, share some laughs or whatever. But for me, when you're watching it, I hate to say this because I'm not a fucking critic. I say again, I am not a critic. When I was watching it, where I'm like, hey, wait, what? Like kind of like Ice Cube when he hears a dog bark in Friday. That's what my face did several times throughout Heroin Busters. Like, oh, the motherfucker, what? Anyway, Hamana played as irredeemable scumbags is perhaps the legacy of one key template of the Italian crime movie, Don Siegel's Dirty Harry, in which the villain played by Andy Robinson serves the role straightforward. We're not talking about Dirty Harry. Yeah. There's one aspect that Castellari chooses not to put center stage here, the implicable influence of the mafia. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if I agree with that statement, because one thing that I did find pretty cool in the beginning of this is we're kind of like spanning the globe, as it were. One guy, like, they are trying to they're shipping drugs under the umbrella of expired and outdated insulin. Yeah. I thought that I was like, not much has probably changed in the world. Not much has changed. If you take a look-see, and you'll know what I'm talking about. While Italian directors such as Stelvio Massi and Antonio Margaretti were presenting a clear-eyed view of mafia tactics, including the corruption that allowed the organization to flourish, Castellari managed to present the whole apparatus of international drug dealing, from the key upper-level suppliers to the street-level pushers, with no reference to organized crime. My God, he did, didn't he? Didn't even think about that. Nor is any suggestion that the criminal structure reflects Italian society more widely. Also true. An approach adopted by many other poliziotteschi. Yeah, because they were fucking afraid to get arrested and fucking, because this is the 70s, you know, we're not 5-10 years off of saying fuck and you'll go to jail for fucking indecent fucking, just, did you guys watch the new, did you guys watch the new George Carlin documentary on HBO Max, George Carlin's American Dream? So good. He's for always and forever my number one. Interestingly, the structure of Heroin Busters echoes not so much American examples of the crime film as the 1963 Terrence Young Bond film From Russia with Love. A convoluted plot takes up the film's first two acts. Like I said, there was a couple times where I'm like, what are we doing here? The stunts and chases are delivered with much enthusiasm here, and it's very easy to underestimate how well these are put across, given the casual skill with which they are performed. Yeah, well, I'm going to stop reading from that. We've done enough. But so Heroin Busters, say it's a crime thriller. It's now I would assume that if you're an avid movie fan, there's nothing that's going to shock you here, at least in Heroin Busters. Now, I wouldn't say that about Big Racket, though. I wouldn't say that about Big Racket. I urge you to watch Big Racket. Well, I urge you to buy the box set and watch both of them and then DM me and go, oh, Sean, you were so right. One is significantly better than the other. But I do think there's something to be said about the presentation of both of these films, the way that it's executed. In fact, goddamn, I didn't even think about the fact that we don't even like explicitly talk about the mob in the Heroin Busters, but we don't. Like, we know who's doing it, you know, and I mean, just kind of adds to the subtle genius that is Enzo G. Castellari. Yeah, just, I don't know, gang. I need to stop talking. I do that thing where, like, I'm going to keep it at 30 minutes, and then I keep going over. There's so much stuff I want to talk about, like the fucking end sequence. But if you want me to spoil more films, just get me in touch with. I'll try to have more guests on. Rogue Cops and Racketeers, two crime thrillers by Enzo G. Castellari, presented by Arrow Video, available now, gang. Ellis Cinema, Arrow Video, Enzo. We gone.